Hey everybody, 40 Sparky here, and I thought I'd show you an update that I'm going to be doing to my video system, and that actually is a rather portable audio system. And in the past I've been using my cell phone. In fact, I'm using my cell phone right now to record this video, and I'd voice over the file from my phone over the video from the camera and ignore the camera's video. But I thought I could do a little bit better with the audio quality because I'm only recording in mono with this thing, whereas this will record in stereo. And I got these two things, and this is a Sony ICD-UX522F. Got a lot of good reviews. And this is a Sony ECM-CS3 microphone. Does great for me, except for one thing. One little problem I have with this microphone is it doesn't come with foam covers. Every other microphone I've ever seen comes with some sort of foam cover for wind protection if you're outside in the wind, so you don't get that sound. And I got on the internet to try to find one that was for sale, and all I found was the standard foam covers. Now the foam covers I've got are too small for this. I ripped them putting them on here. So I got on YouTube here and to see if I could find some homemade solutions, and the only one I came across is somebody took an old sock and cut it up and duct taped it to this. Might be functional, but to me that was a little bit cheesy. So I thought I could do better than just an old sweat sock. So I got looking around the house and I came across an idea and I put it together, and it works really well, and that is these guys right here. This is a couple of pieces of plastic tubing with some felt stuck to the end, and I've even got a little notch here in them, so I can take this clip, slide it out of the way. This will slide up in there, slide the clip back, and now I've got a very convenient and I think a little bit more durable windscreen than simple plain old foam, which is could tear or anything like this. I think this is a little bit more substantial and works just as good, if not better, because this felt is a little bit thicker than the foam. So I'm going to show you how to put one of these together, the material that you need, and we're actually going to make one. And what you'll need is, I have a little piece of felt here. This is left over from a other project that I was working with. You will need, now I'm going to be using a hobby drill with a cutting blade and a little cone-shaped sanding piece here to dress out the pieces of plastic. You will also need some sort of epoxy or adhesive to put the two pieces together, and I use a product called Fast Weld 10. This is a two-part epoxy. You can use hot glue if you wanted to, or some other industrial strength. Just don't use Elmer's glue. And the last thing, and this was key, is an old Sharpie. I couldn't believe that I was looking around the house and I was looking for something that would fit this, or a solid plastic, and I came across a Sharpie and I thought, that's perfect. I just need to cut out a notch for where the clip mounts. So with everything assembled, let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to show you how to do one of these. First thing I do is, this is an old Sharpie that's dried out and dull, so it's going to get tossed to the side because this is what we're really after. And what I'm going to do first off is take my hobby drill, and I'm going to, and this is going to get messy, I'm going to tighten this up. I'm going to find the on switch here, and let's speed that up a little bit. Cut this off, and now I'm going to simply cut it into two pieces. Come on. That's one piece. That took off down the hill here. Let me go grab that. And that'll be a little bit of deburring that we have to do, and that's what that cone shape piece is for. But it's going to get a little messy here, so don't worry about it. We can always clean that up later. You know, hey, anything worth doing is worth making a mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pieces of plastic and I'm going to set them on here. And then I'm going to take a hobby knife, and you don't have to use a hobby knife. This is what I use. And I'm going to put a couple notches here on the edge of this, so I will be able to see where I need to cut my notch. I didn't quite get that deep enough to really see where they are. And there I can see them. So I'm going to expound upon those a little bit. There's one there. There's one there. And I'm just going to take my hobby drill again. And I'm going to just slowly shave into that a little U-shaped notch. And we're going to try and see how that fits. Look at that. It just fits right on there, just like it was made for it. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Take this and I guess I need to clean out the burrs on the inside in order to get it to fit on there. And there we go. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a notch there and a notch there. And my eyesight isn't all that great these more, so it takes me a little bit of time to see those notches. And see how that does. See how that looks. Looky there, like it was made for it. Now we're going to change the bit in the hobby drill to this little sander, I guess would what you'd call it, and we'll dress up the plastic. As you can see, I'm using my hobby knife to cut some of these pieces off that the sander just doesn't want to get. But I think I've got them down pretty well to where I want them. So I'm going to get all this garbage out of the way. And now we simply need to attach them to our felt. And to do that, I'm just going to be using this two-part epoxy. And it doesn't take a whole lot to do this. I'm just going to put a little dab on here, because like I say, it just doesn't take very much to do this. And like I say, if you want to use hot glue or some sort of other adhesive, use whatever you feel comfortable with. I just have this industrial grade epoxy, and I use it for a lot of this stuff, and I keep scrap cardboard like this around just for when I need to mix some of this stuff up, because if I throw the cardboard away, I won't have any, and I got to dig through the trash. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to spread this out a little bit so it's nice and even, and then I'm going to take my little plastic tubes and I'm going to dip them into the epoxy to make sure the edges are very well covered, and I'm just going to stick them onto the felt. And it takes about 10 to 15 minutes for that to set up. And so I'm just going to leave those just like that and let them set for about 15 minutes, and we'll come back. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes and the epoxy is pretty well set up. So we're going to go ahead and finish these off. And all you need to do is just take a pair of scissors and cut them out of the felt, which is fairly simple to do. You simply cut them apart, and then just carefully take your pair of scissors and go around the edge like this and cut off the excess. Just cut yourself a little circle, and there's one. And there's the other to go with the first two that I had. So now I've got two pair. And you've seen how to make a custom windscreen cover for a Sony lapel microphone. Just like that. It's that simple, folks. So this is 480 Sparky. Go forth and actuate.